Hi, everyone. Good evening. It's so wonderful to see you all here to listen to our dear friend Nari sir. And he's such a role model in our event management industry. And the best thing we like about him is his frank talking and with a lot of humor in it, and his kindness to all living beings, which we will get to discuss with him in over the next one hour. Narinder Bir Singh. Now, for those who would like to know a little bit more about Nari sir, his family has migrated from Rawalpindi during the partition time. His grandfather came over to Chennai. Rawalpindi was ruled once by Maharaja Ranjit Singh in early 19th century, and Sikh population was prominent there. For having lived all those years in Rawalpindi, their family has moved to Chennai after the partition. As far as Nari sir is concerned, he's born and brought up in Chennai, happily married, has a son and a daughter. His current is probably known to all of us in business circles, and as his father, he has an eye for quality. Mr. Nari is a role model for youngsters, and we have a lot to appreciate in what he has to share and talk about his ideas on business and his career all along. I have personally known Nari over the last 12 years. Just like to mention one incident which will make me to explain more about what a person he is. You see, when I started my business, I had just entered the business, and I was into another business of electrical products, and then I came into the event industry as a vendor. And he was one of the first to patronize me with an order. It was for a small LED setup at St. Abbas School in Mylapore. He also gave me 25,000 rupees advance for setting up the screen. But it so happened that the event got cancelled due to sudden rains that day. And Nari said that he wouldn't take back the money from me, and he asked me to retain it with me until he gives me the next order. I could feel that he didn't want to disappoint me, and primarily, he didn't want to disappoint me and to take back the money. Well, he did give me a next order, and I could find him as a different person altogether. And since then, we have been having a lot of interactions on a friendly manner, and also in a business manner. And the more I get to know about him, the more I relish my interactions. And I'm lucky to be knowing you, Nari sir, over the years. Well, let me ask you, let's start the questions. Let me ask you, Nari sir, how was your childhood, and how was the care of your parents showered on you? How did you feel as a young boy? And tell me something about your earlier age for us to understand.
Yeah. Thank you, Mani. Before I start about my career, let me thank you for having invited me. The most important is I'm also a little worried because you have asked me to narrate my life journey, which is for 46 years. So that multiplied by 35 days into 60 into 30 whatever it is days per month, 365 days into 12 hours, assuming that we work for 12 hours. You're asking me to do approximately 2 lakh hours of my life in 1 hour.
You're capable of doing it, sir.
So I really am, I'm worried. I think I have to be now. I have to play the role of the genie in that bottle. Who's compressed in that bottle.
Which you always do.
Anyway, I'll try to do my best. But for all those of you who are tuned on. Like every time I have a statutory warning always. Like you have the statutory warning on the liquor bottles and on the cigarettes. My statutory warning to you would be kindly don't read between lines, okay? And don't do too many you know checks on the words that I use, because I talk very simple language. I I'm not Mr. Mani Shankar or some Shashi Tharoor who can use a lot of language. Though I passed from an English medium, but still I use very simple language. I don't get into those big words. So that's a thing. Now coming back to Mani's question, uh, I started my schooling in Church Park Presentation Convent, which was a co-ed school. I did from my nursery up to fifth standard, and it so happened that after our batch was the last batch, because I think the school thought they can't handle these rowdies, so they stopped having boys there, and from there uh, I went and did my schooling in Don Bosco Matriculation School, which was actually my sort of my my foundation was all there. And because those days Don Bosco's Matriculation School was a very reputed school, especially the discipline was very tight. I see Ram and all that. I can see some of you there, so I don't have to speak too much about Don Bosco. Uh, Discipline in terms of timing, punctuality, uniform, everything used to be very tight. It was like they used to say we were like they used to call us slaves of Don Bosco. So it was like that. But really, what was my turning point in my career was I joined the Boy Scout troop in Don Bosco. This was actually where I had put all my soul and effort, and I learned a lot from the scouting programs, because we had everything to learn, right from teamwork, competitive spirit, time management. Then we had a lot of we were taught various things like first aid, and we also had good fun. We used to have these campfires where we started doing the skits. We started doing we had a lot of those dancers singing, so everything was there. It was fully packed, and that's where I actually started learning more about event management and how to manage. If you ask me, managing a Boy Scout troop is, I think, more difficult than managing even my company. That's what I felt in those days, because there was so much, handling so many boys at one time, and each were going on a different direction. So that was a great experience. So that is with regard to thing. And we used to stay in a very small house in Taisab Street. There also we were almost 15 of us, if I recall correct, and we were staying we had a joint family. We just had about 2 rooms, but we were about 7 boys. We were 4 brothers and 3 cousins. We had no girls, fortunately or unfortunately. So in that, we learned how to work with each other, and my parents did very well for themselves, and they looked after us very well. And like I told you, though it was a very small house, but I'd call it a perfect home, where we had a lot of love and bonding between ourselves, myself, my brothers, my cousins. So that's how I started my. That's about my initial days. If you have now, I think that should be enough. Or you want to know something more?
No, you say that you used to sing and dance well. You do that Bhangra dances, ballet dance and all.
To be very honest, I am very fond of Bhangra. I'm very fond of any form of dancing, but I love dancing. It's in my blood. Till about 2 years ago, I used to be one of the most. I used to make it a point to visit all the nightclubs, and I also made it a point to always, move around with young people. Okay, because I always consider myself to be young. I never, till today, I don't think I'm old.
Yeah, I still feel you are one of the youngest in the event industry, and so maybe you can give me some space in that as well.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. There are plenty on this group who should be knowing better. Yes, sir.
Sir, in your growing up days,
Yeah.
do you recall any of your masters who have shaped you well, and who's been your role model for what you are today? How have you taken up after someone?
See, let me tell you here one thing very clearly, sir. For me, my guru, I won't say master, my guru is my mother. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
She's everything for me in life. Till today, she's with me. I'm blessed that I have a mother who's staying with me, and I go purely by her wishes. Any project, even a big project I take, I first have to get her approval, and only after I get her approval, I start any project. It's
Mm-hmm.
as simple as that. Now, coming to the next question, what next thing you asked
No,
me is
I
about.
just wanted to know whether there was you have any role model, because you are a
Yeah,
role model to many of us today. So someone shaped you well, shaped you into your position what you are today.
yeah, I have a few specific people whom I'd like to mention, but let me tell you, Mani sir,
Yeah.
every single person that I've met in my life has been my role model.
Okay. Okay.
But let it be, Anita, or let it be Mani Shankar, or let it be anyone, whomever I met, I found that I had so much to learn from everybody. And
Mm-hmm.
basically, I'm a very, yeah, there are specific people who have really impressed me in my life. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Uh, to begin with, I can take the name of the great Mr. Ratan Tata. I
Mm-hmm.
haven't met him, but I've read a lot about him, and I'm very inspired by Mr. Ratan Tata. Another person whom whom I definitely want to speak to today is about uh, Mr. GRK Reddy. Okay, he's
Mark Constructions director,
he was
chairman.
from the Swarna Bhumi. He is the chairman of Swarna Bhumi.
Uh-huh.
The amount of fire that man had in his belly, I
Mm-hmm.
was really very. In fact, that was one of the turning points in my life. From that man, I I learned that nothing is impossible unless
Uh,
unless you say so. So
okay.
with him,
Okay.
we did some we did a wonderful show, uh, which we'll discuss at a little later stage.
Yeah.
Then another role model in my life was this person called Mr. Deepak Katani, who
Mm-hmm.
was in that day at that time he was the event manager of Mr. A.R. Rahman.
Yeah. Okay.
From him, I really learned dimensions,
Mm-hmm.
scaling. He was the first person to create such scaling in the musical concerts. Till then,
Mm-hmm.
the musical concerts were very small. But this is the man who brought in the size, and that's how the musical concerts really grew leaps and bounds in in Chennai and in India.
Okay. Great.
The
Great.
last person I want to also mention here is my very good friend, my childhood friend, Mr. Ashokan, who was
Mm-hmm.
also my classmate. He's been a source of inspiration for me, and he like in the sense that whenever I wanted to get some clarity on thoughts, I would meet him because he's one of the most coolest persons I've ever met in my life. I've not seen him getting disturbed at any time in his life. So that's about them. But I'm also very fond of very fond of reading. A very I do a lot of reading. In that, I can mention a name of some authors whom I just love and I adore, and I read at least about 2 to 3 hours every day. To
Mm-hmm.
mention few, one there is Mr. Og Mandino, Robert Schuller. Then we have I can recall the name of Mr. Norman Vincent Peale. Then Brian Tracy, and so on and so forth. Practically, I only read books on self help
Great.
and
Great.
positive thinking. I
Great.
don't
Great.
read fiction at all. So I
So
think that sort of answers.
yes, sir. I mean, these people have really shaped you up in life, and reading these books, you have found your way up, and then you have had some role models as well. Yeah, we understand.
That also includes you, Mr. Money.
No, no, no,
From you, we learn how to how to manage money. We all make money.
no.
Money making is very easy, but managing money, yes, Mr. Mani Shankar is the man.
Okay, maybe it's your turn to pull me now. Okay. Okay. After your school, you went to college, Guindy Engineering College, to do your engineering, and you must have participated in the cultural events and all in your college days. How was it, Nari sir?
I was very active in during my college days. All the more reason because we had a co-education. There it was co-ed, and we got a chance to. I got a good chance to dance with all these girls and sing with all these girls. So
Okay.
that was great fun. I took part in the college culturals also, and college days were good fun.
Okay.
Good fun it was. Yeah.
And immediately after college, I mean, if, for instance, people work for a few years and then start business. I think you immediately after college you got into business without
Not really.
Uh-huh.
Not really money.
Mhm.
You missed out the pre-university. I did my pre-university before going to engineering. They didn't give me a double promotion, so I had to
Okay.
do the
Okay.
pre-university, and then I went into
You,
college.
you did it at Vivekananda,
Yeah, I
right?
did it in Vivekananda,
Uh-huh.
and very important thing is, I started doing all this stuff, whatever I'm talking about. I
Mhm.
started doing it right from my school days.
Mhm.
I started doing, I used to make candles sitting at home. And I was supposed to be one damager in my house.
Okay.
Anything that I see, if I see a radio, I used to split
Mhm.
it apart and say I'm going to repair it. But eventually, I could never repair it, and then it used to always go to the radio shop. But
Uh-huh.
that was something I always wanted to be different, and anything you give me, like even my bicycle, I split it fully and then I could put it back. Then I had to give it to the cycle shop and get it done. So that started then. I used to do all sorts of things right from my school days. But
Mhm.
yeah, when I started my PUC, that's
Mhm.
the time I started my career right from pre-university. That's why I was not a very regular to college. I used to always bunk classes because I found my work more interesting. And
You are a
then
backbencher, I suppose.
I was not backbencher is not the right word.
Uh-huh.
I was a canteen buncher. Canteen buncher.
Okay.
I used to sit in the canteens always,
Okay. Okay. That's
and
it's
I used
even better
to
than that.
because
Okay.
that's where the crowd was.
Okay. Okay. Great.
Yeah.
And
So
after, yeah.
so I started with screen printing. We were one of the best screen printing units in Chennai in those days. Thereafter, I switched over. I mean, not switched over. I added. I went into plastic lamination. We
Mm-hmm.
were one of the first people to start plastic lamination totally in a mechanized form. In those days, there were some people who should do it manually. The output
Mm-hmm.
used to be very very low, and
Mm-hmm.
we mechanized it and brought it into complete in automation. Because I'm very good at copying,
Okay.
so we just happened to see one machine somewhere. We made some sketch and came back and we made the machine, and
Okay.
we didn't
Okay.
know which side to feed the. We didn't know which is the entry and which is the exit. It was as bad as that. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Then I did lamination. After that, I went into offset printing. There also we were specialized. We were specialized in small offset printing. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
we were the first people who started doing like things like visiting cards, letterheads, and all that. Then thereafter we started this. I had a company called Laminat,
Mm-hmm.
Lamicoat, sorry, which was the first of its kind. We were making silicon release paper in India, where the paper was earlier being imported from other countries. But I was the first man to import to start manufacture of silicon paper. There also we spent about 1 week in Taiwan. We used to go there every day, see. We were not allowed to use even our scales or any rulers. So we used
Mm-hmm.
to use our hands and take the measurements and go back to the room at night and do the drawings. We came back to India and then we made the machine locally.
Okay.
And we had a lot of teething problems, no doubt, but finally we managed. Then after that, we started doing silicon release paper. Then we did tapes, pressure sensitive tapes. We had photo albums. Then we did paper conversion machines. After that, then that's a time when when things started. Uh, you know, I was never happy.
Mm-hmm.
Never happy because always whenever I reached the pinnacle, I was able to produce the product. I was always looking for other challenges. I didn't want to get bogged down by all this day-to-day work, routine work, purchase, sales, accounting. So I never used to like it. So I jumped on from there, and that's the time I got. But by then we went into some problems also. So that's the time I started an event management company. We were one of the pioneers in event management. We had a
Mm-hmm.
company called Blockbusters, where
Blockbusters.
where we did some of the biggest shows in Chennai. But unfortunately, we were not very successful at that, because that required a lot of marketing skills, and also financial management, which was always my weakness. I basically was like a a production guy, so that's it. And but when I was doing my event,
Mm-hmm.
we struggle working with all these production guys. And that's a time I could see a vision. I could see that there's a lot of scope for an organized stage management company who could cater to the requirements of the event industry. So that's how I started Men at Work. I started in the year 1997 as
Great,
a
great.
proprietorship company. Yes, sir.
Good thing you started that, so that we are all very happy today to work with you. If you had stuck with your lamination industry, we would have missed you here in this. How did you get into this? The metal trussing people, I think they were all using only wood to do the staging and rigging those days. If
Sir,
I'm right, you thought.
Actually, you have jumped a lot of steps. Looks like you're running out of time, and you're pushing me very fast. You're making me into an express train, and giving me very limited stops. See, when I started in the Men at Work, I started as a very simple staging company, where I used to do staging, and I used to do backdrops. I used to do AV screens, and everything was in wood.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to, it was a nightmare for me, getting these carpenters, cutting wood every time, having so much a problem with the hotels, because they mess up the whole place, and never be able to complete things on time. And since I had a engineering background, I was always inclined towards making a change. So that's, and we were if I'm not mistaken, we were the first people who converted everything into metal. We converted to metal stages, we converted to metal backdrops, everything we brought into metal. There was a lot of resistance, and people said, it's not going to work. But I was very determined, and I knew that the future of this country was only in metal. And
that's really the vision, that's really where the vision of the people who have come up has been. Today, the amount of contribution you do, and if it's Men at Works, people are safe as far as the rigging and trussing is concerned.
So coming to trussing, at that time, there was, as far as there were no trussing companies too many in India. So that's a time, and that time we didn't have exposure to Google and this Facebook and Instagram and all that. Today, everything is all tailor-made. Just press of a button and you get information. So that time we didn't know. We didn't have all that information. So whatever we did, we used our own skill set. And at that time, I think so, we used a lot of common sense, which today I don't think the people need to use, because everything is available on the computer, and you get everything there. So we designed our own trussing, and we did it the way we thought it was correct. But when we later on checked, we found that almost all the European manufacturers and Chinese manufacturers, we had built in on almost 80% of the same lines.
Okay,
we didn't have any designs with us, nothing. We did it all on our own. And the biggest, my weakness and my strength is that level of overconfidence. I was always very overconfident of myself. I felt I could do, if you say in Tamil, the people used to ask me, sir, Panilama, Panila, done it, Panila, no problem, don't worry, it can be done. So whether we knew how to do it was not important. That time, yes, we'll do it, and then we used to get at it, put our very best, and we also achieved what we promised. So that's very important. Yes, sir.
Sir, I see you have just switched over. I mean, today the amount of rigging and trussing you do is phenomenal in, if not in South India, at least in the whole of country, I can say. Everyone recognizes you. And you have moved from lamination industry to this industry just like that. I want to ask you, how did you mobilize the money for all these things? Is it very easy for you to just, isn't it money so important to start a big business like this? Or maybe just want to, for the benefit of everyone who is listening and who want to prove themselves in their career, just like to know how you have addressed the financial issues in your career growth.
Just a few friends of mine who know me well will believe me, but rest of people won't believe. When I started, Men at Work, I had to take a loan of 20,000 rupees from my mother. I took a loan of 20,000 rupees, and that's how I started my career in Men at Work, for which I had to get a space. I needed to pay advance. Then I also had to buy, a certain amount of raw material and all the other stuff which are required. Well, as far as the rent was concerned, I was lucky. That way, I've been very lucky in all my life. I told the landlord that I won't be able to pay the deposit amount for 6 months, but I told him he could take my every month rental in advance. And I said, if I default, I will surrender the shed to you. So somehow he believed me. And here I also have a small word for the people, the young people. If you are honest in business, people will definitely believe you. But you need to be honest and you need to work towards it, not just promise something and then don't deliver. That doesn't work. So we started with that. And initially, since I didn't have any equipment, I tied up with the cinema people who had some equipment, So I used to use them, and in those days we never used to get even advance payments because we were new. So people said, no, you do the job, and then if you do it well, we pay. We delivered more than what we committed, and people were happy, so we paid. And it has always been my policy to pay off all my vendors and suppliers first, and then if there was any leftover money, we used to put it back into the business. Okay, so that's how it all started, sir. I had a capital of just 20,000 rupees.
And you built up on that with your sincerity. Yeah. Okay, great.
Built up on that, and today, by God's grace, we have the best equipment in the world when it comes to.
Yeah, I know. I want to ask you about that a little later, about the Milos, what you have. Actually, you see, the other day I was talking to another friend of mine, Giri, who is one of the leading holiday resort owner in our country. He was in a webinar as well. I think you were also there on that day as an witnessing that. I asked him this question. One of the thing that he said is, in business, it's not enough to be a survivor. You need to be a warrior in business if you really want to meet the challenges and come up. And I can see you have that grit and determination in you, and the level of a warrior that you are in your business is something for us to get inspired and learn from you, Nari sir. And even as a Sikh, you see, as a Sikh, you Sikhs are generally warriors in their life. And that reminds me, what a Pakistani general who got defeated in the 71 war said, that we lost the war, it's mainly because of the Sikh soldiers of India. They have the capacity to fight 20 to 30 times bigger battalions than what they are. And I'm sure you must be proud as a Sikh, isn't it, in your life? And I'm happy for you.
Yeah, I am definitely very proud to be a Sikh. And, if you go to the Sikh history, we had no option but to fight, because we were basically the only community which used to fight the Mughals at that time. So we started as a warrior community, and that spirit and the blood is the spirit is in our blood. And basically that's also one reason why we're all most of the Sikhs are very hot-blooded. So you need to be very careful with these guys also. They're the best people you can ever deal with. But if you pick them on, they're not going to let you go so easily.
But I tell you, the amount of contribution you people do to our armed forces is phenomenal, and that's hats off to you, your Sikhs that who save or protect our country from the borders.
Very true, sir.
Yeah.
But coming to what our friend Giri said, basically, in our field, sir, that is in the event management field, in the staging field, what we are in, see, we have to be, firefighters. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
whatever we do, so in the last minute, eventually, I don't know. I think whether it's a curse of this industry, we have to do, firefighting in the last minute every time. Even today, now before this seminar started, you know what happened. Okay, so we always have a firefighter. So basically, if you want to be successful in this field, you have to be a firefighter. And I always say, I tell to the people whom I meet, I said, you have to be like you have to. It's like the boxing. It's like being in a boxing match where uh, you you only lose when you refuse to get up.
Mm-hmm.
They count, the referee counts 1, 2, 3, and goes up to 10. So he gives you a time to hit back. So if you can't hit back, then this is not the industry where you should be. You look for something more.
I know a person who is successful in event management industry or as a vendor to event management industry is definitely bound to be successful in life if he is able to handle situations like this. It's a great thing. I always feel like that, the way we handle situations in the last minute in the event industry, and how we tackle the situations, whatever may be the emergencies. That's not many people get to face such type of challenges on a day-to-day life, which we are lucky to be doing that. So,
very true, sir. Very true.
Tell me something about your Milo system, which you have introduced, and you have revolutionized the rigging and trussing and in our country. It's a great thing, and your son is a big contributor in this along with you. Tell me something about this. We want to know what it is what it is. How is it different from the ordinary trussing?
See, before we come to the Milos, let me tell you one thing. The event industry has really evolved since we were working with Raman. The demands kept increasing every day. Every show used to be different, and they kept increasing the demands. We want loading of so much. We want so much this. We want to hang an LED. We want to put lights. We want to put sound. We want this. We want that. And the trussing that we normally had at that time were all Chinese trusses. Obviously, because we couldn't afford to buy a European truss in our starting days, and we were not very confident of doing such work because the Chinese trusses never came with any proper certification or any proper things like loading charts or anything. So it was all a trial error, which we didn't want to take the risk, especially when doing such a big show. You can't take a risk with your artist and with your audience and with your workers. So that's a time when at that time, the Milos was the world's largest trussing manufacturer. And well, we always dreamt very big. My dreams always, I can see John there. So I can see John Vito smiling. So he knows, we always dreamt very big. If we were on a scale to 10, 1 to 10, and we were 10, our dreams were always 100. We always should dream 10 times more. So we wanted to buy the Milos, but we couldn't afford it because it was too expensive. It was almost costing a few crores at that time, and we never had the monies. But here, once again, we went to our. Normally I never go to my bank. I've never visited my bank excepting for opening an account. I just went into the bank and I told him I want to buy a truss. So he said, "No, what can you offer as security?" I said, "I can give you my word of honor. That's all I have to offer." So he said, "Anyhow, give me a project and let me see what I can do." After a few months, he said, "Mr. Singh, you haven't got back to me." Yes, sir. I really don't know whether it can work out. He said, "No. If you want to get a lottery, you should buy a lottery ticket. So if you want to get the money, first open an account in my bank and I'll give you the money." We gave the money. We opened an account and they gave us the money that we wanted, and we bought the Milos truss. It's one of the finest trussing systems in the world. Absolutely certified, completely certified, and it meets to all the specifications. And the best thing about this, the European manufacturers, is there's strict, quality control, complete control of the materials they use, the welding technology, the R&D, everything is unique by itself.
Mhm.
So that's how we got into the Mylos, which is today one of the, not one of the, it is the best
It is the
casting
best, yeah.
manufacturer, because uh, they have acquired over, basically almost, they say, can't if you can't win the competition, buy them over. So he's bought over almost all the big companies in India.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah.
And I'm sure your bank manager gave you that advance because of your reputation, which you have built up over the years. Not everyone
Because he
gets.
didn't know who I was, but he trusted me, and it so happened that he happened to
Yeah,
be.
I mean, your account will talk who
He was
you
in,
are.
he was from the Ludhiana, and he had a
Uh-huh.
very good experience with with Sikhs, especially with Sardars. So he
Mhm.
trusted me and gave it, and I also, I kept up to my word. In spite of the problems we had, we made sure that we paid all the installments on time and we cleared it. So that was very important.
And with Milos, your experience with A.R. Rahman and Sunborn must be a very challenging ones, I suppose. And
Yeah, we have met on once upon a time. We were very far behind the technology what was being followed in the other countries. But today I can proudly say yes, we are on par with what is happening anywhere in the world.
so personally, I have worked with you for, if you remember, one of the biggest project in 2012 IPL inauguration,
Yeah,
where you made such a huge, about 20-30 feet, you lifted Salman Khan on a hydraulic lift, and then the Priyanka Chopra came on a crane, and then all these gimmicks we did, and I used to look at it with honors. Great jobs you did, and you really showed your capacity in that. Even way back in 2012. Now, of course, you must have equipped yourself with much more than what it was at that time. It was. It has always been inspiring to work with you, sir. And also, you have done Sri Sri Ravi Shankar program where you put up a stall of 300 feet by 300 feet, if I'm right,
not a
at
stall. It was a stage. It was a stage.
Perungalatur, which
Yeah,
had gone into Guinness Book of Records.
yeah. It was a stage of
Proud
320
working
feet
with
by
you, sir. Yeah.
240 feet. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
In
It was
how many days you
320 by
completed
240.
that?
What's that?
In how many days you completed that?
Well, it took us 20 days, but they gave us a ground which was full of plants and shrubs and rocks and all that. It was a perennial floor, and it was uh, the client took me to the ground and said, "Mr. Singh, this is all that we have got. So, do you think we can do a show here?" I said, "Why not? We definitely can do." We had
Mhm.
the right people who backed us, who supported us, and well, we converted that into a beautiful venue, and we put up a stage of 320 feet by 240 feet,
Wow.
and we used the technology. At that time, we didn't have the technology we have today. So whatever
Mhm.
systems we knew, whatever we could implement, it was a compromise between things, and we built a stage which accommodated 5,500 musicians. This is
On the stage.
Guinness Book of Records. Yes, 5,500 musicians on the stage. Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. How do you see handling such huge projects, Nari sir? How do you go about doing it? How do you, I mean, just for us to have some idea, I mean, you can't do things just like that in a haywire manner. You must be doing some planning, and you should be doing some recce and drawings, execution, quality check, dismantling. Give us some idea about your systems and the planning, what you do in handling the events. I'm sure it will be a great source of knowledge for those of us who are hearing you.
Yeah, true. Here I must tell that one thing is the knowledge I picked up from my from my scouting days
Mhm.
was of great help. And subsequently, I was when I was in College of Engineering Gindi, I took a course called Production Planning Control without knowing what it is. I thought
Mhm.
maybe it left full production. I didn't know that's going to be only about planning and control. And at that time, let me tell you, I used to hate it. I didn't like sitting in the class with all these books and figures. I really didn't. I didn't like it, and it should be very boring. To be frank with you, it was very boring. But I never knew that this is what is going to give me the cutting edge in the market. I, if you ever, I think you have come to my factory.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. If you enter my factory, there's a notice board. The first thing you'll see, it will say, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Uh-huh.
And today, the success of Men@Work is, I think, because of our immaculate, planning. We spend 50%. In fact, 50% of our work is completed in our factory. Everything is planned. We have first we do a recce. Without doing a recce, we don't take up any show because we know that the client tells something, but on site you go and see something else, and it becomes very difficult to execute. So we may make sure that we understand the client's requirements very well. In fact, people find us to be a little irritating because we ask too many questions.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Most of the people get irritated, but now over a period of time, people have realized as to why we ask those questions, because we want to be very sure of what's happening. For example, someone tells you, I want a stage. First thing we ask him is, no, what is going to happen on the stage? That our friend Mr. John knows. That we say we're going to have dancers. Are you going to have singers? Are you going to have anything coming on stage? So we ask them all those details. We'll want to know how many dancers are coming. What will be the weight of a dancer? Because we don't want to get caught in a situation where we build a stage of, say, 20 feet by 30 feet by 20 feet. And then we have dancers like Mr. John who bring, 100 dancers and come. Then at that minute, he says, sir, can something be done? What can be done? We'll say, reduce the dances. That's all. So what can you do in a matter of few minutes? We can't do it. So the most important is understanding what the client wants and then plan for it. Have all your mathematics and calculations in place. Then we prepare something called a work order. I think you must have seen,
Yeah, I have. I mean, whenever I come to a factory, you've got a solid, for each and everything, you prepare a job order, work order, and then you maintain it.
Yeah. In fact, most of my clients used to ask me whether I am a doctor, because they thought because I carry these files, So they asked me because I'm a doctor. I said, I'm not a doctor, but I have this habit of forgetting very fast. So I want to ensure that I record everything that you say. We do it, and then we have perfect planning. Then we have a proper checklist made for the materials that have to be dispatched. And we have, for this matter, even the weight of materials that we dispatch is known by us before we dispatch the material. Because invariably, we find that if we don't do this calculation, then we get into trouble with the transporter who says, no, sir, it's overload. I can't take this truck forward. After loading, it's a tremendous task to unload and again load it onto 2 trucks. So that and an on-site, which for us, it's the simplest thing, sir. We just go and do a nut bolt system. We just go there, fix, unless the client goes for major changes, which we normally don't entertain unless it demands. Because everything has been planned to the last T. So changes on site is absolutely very difficult unless we are pre-informed, because the materials that we move will also be moved with a 10% surplus, and in case it falls within that, we can do. Otherwise, we very.
I know you attribute your success towards the planning prior to the event.
Definitely, sir. We are today. Nice. Whatever we are today is solely because of our planning.
And one thing also I have seen, sir, whatever you know about, if suppose you know some technical details better, you voluntarily go and teach others about what has to be done, which generally, people will think that it will increase competition. But then you have that open-mindedness to go and tell others, you do like this, you do like that, and you use such type of clamps so that it will be better, and use such type of staging that will be better. That shows the love for the work that you have for your work, and that's something amazing, which I particularly like in the way you do, Nari sir. And so, you must have trained your people also in that way, and that must be one of the good reasons for your success as well.
So, Manish sir, let me tell you one thing. We are very, very, passionate about our work. Okay.
I can see that the way the body language itself, I can see how passionate you are with your work, which
and one thing, Manish sir, which we always are, and I've trained my boys, I've trained my son, I've trained my nephew in this direction only. Most important is the interest of the show. The show has to go on, and the show has to be successful. So what if I put the best stage in the town, in the country, and I don't want to have an accident of an LED falling down or a light falling down or the sound not good. So we try to help all the departments to make sure that everything is in place and nothing goes wrong. Because eventually, if something goes wrong, then it so happens that it's a bad show. And then I've also trained my son, my children. I said, see, knowledge is meant to be shared, because the more you share knowledge, the more you learn.
Fantastic.
And I told you, fortunately for me, even my son also has a hunger for learning. He always tries to. Every day is a process, and every day we are learning. Every step of us we are learning. Every day is a new day, sir.
Yeah,
Hi, Dia.
I'm sure you are proud of your son in so many ways, as I can appreciate. And
Yes.
all this, the good qualities and the kindness that you show towards others, I know you show the same kindness towards every living being. I've seen whenever you're in the office, you have about 5-6 pet dogs around you, and they are all so fond of you. They wait for you to come there, and it's very nice to see the way you treat your pets, and you're so fond of dogs, isn't it? Right from a very long time.
I won't call them dogs, sir. I call them living creatures.
Living creatures,
they're
okay.
so loving. In fact, they're after your mother.
Mm-hmm.
These living creatures are the only thing who show unconditional love, which you can't find today. Even if you want something from your wife, you have to do something for her. Only then you will get in return.
The love you learn through your pets, you are able to share it with the human beings as well. So that enables you to become a better human being.
And I don't know why, sir. I don't know why. But wherever I go, I don't understand. I am supposed to be, and my factory boys call me the Pied Piper. Wherever I go, these dogs come, following me, and about 6-7 of them, always 7-10 people come, and 10 of these boys, the dogs will surround me. And invariably, you would have found I have a carton of biscuits in my car, which I always feed these dogs. But it would have been luckier if I had girls surrounding me instead of the dogs.
No, I remember once you told me that even when your car comes and takes a turning into your street, your dog will understand that you have come, and then it will start barking, right?
Sir, I just don't understand how these guys know. When I enter into Porur and I enter into Alapakkam, it's almost a 1 kilometer drive. The minute I turn, all of them are alert. They're alert, and when I come, irrespective of them, in good mood or a bad mood, they're all wagging their tail and so happy to greet me. And most of them try to jump on me. And my son will say, "Dad, be careful. They're going to spoil your dress." I said, "Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if the dress is." They're happy that because they don't see too much of me. So whenever they see me, they're very happy. I must share one small incident, Mani, if I have the time.
Sure. Yeah. We have some more time. Yes.
I have a dog at home called Zeno, sir. He was very critical about a week back, about 10 days back. And the doctor said we have to put him to sleep, but we were not willing to put him to sleep because he was like I cared for him, I looked after him more than my son. So we didn't want to put him to sleep, but we said, okay, worst comes to worst, we have to do it, we'll do it. But that fellow, his name is Zeno, and he's a Labrador. He sprung back like a tiger. He came back, and today he's back into action. He's sitting right next to me here and wagging his tail.
Okay.
What was the reason for it? I just cannot see any reason, because the doctor said that his creatinine levels have gone up and his kidneys have failed, and he was having blood in the vomiting. He had blood in the stools. It was a pitiful situation. But I'll tell you, Mr. Mani, it's very clear. He wanted to be part of us, and he didn't want to leave the family. That is why he had that strength to come back.
Okay. The love.
I wish human beings also have that strength.
I was going through your Facebook, where you had posted a short video interview of Ratan Tataji, where he talks about his pet dog. He was given a lifetime achievement award by the by UK, the Prince of
Prince Charles. I know about it.
Prince Charles, yeah. Can you share some details on that, sir?
Well, it It was there all on the Facebook, sir. He was invited. They were giving a very prestigious award, and they had called a big gathering. There was a lunch being hosted, but
Uh-huh.
everybody turned up, and Mr. Ratan Tata didn't turn up. So when they checked to find out, he said, "I'm sorry, I can't make it because my dog is unwell." So he
Mm.
said, "Sir, but everybody is waiting for you." He said, "No, that at this minute, I cannot afford to leave my dog. He's been so loyal to me all his life. And the time when he's on the bed and is about to die, I don't want to leave him alone and come." So, in fact, that was the most appreciated part of Ratan Tata, and he was given a standing ovation at that particular function because I follow him closely. So I really
Great, great.
believe me,
Yeah.
believe me, Mani.
Yeah.
If this was my dog, I also wouldn't have gone. Let it be any award, I wouldn't have gone.
Yeah, I mean, it comes only when you get involved to that levels of sharing love with the pets and living beings, as you say. You don't call it as a dog, part of your family in every respect.
Yeah.
Naresh sir, you're born and brought up in Chennai. Um, how do you feel about the Tamil culture vis-a-vis the Punjabi culture, which is your family culture? Do you
Sure.
see any difference? Do you still, I mean, have something to say about the cultural differences,
Sir,
or
when
you
you
you find
introduced
that
me,
every culture is the same all over the world?
Sir, when you introduced me, you
Uh,
said Narendra Singh is born and brought up in Chennai.
yes,
Okay,
yes, yes,
so
yes.
that speaks for itself. I
Okay,
am, I am a Tamilian Sardar. Okay,
okay,
I have
okay.
a pagadi, I have a dadi, but
Uh-huh.
other than that, everything about me is Tamilian. We have our eating habits are Tamil. I think I have every day I have idli and
And
idli
maybe
vada,
your pet knows
pongal
that
every
you
morning.
just spoke about that.
Yeah, we have all that in the morning, and lunch we have rice, sambar, some food, poril, all that we have. Only at
Uh-huh.
night we have this chapati, which
Mhm.
eventually I don't eat because I hate eating chapati. You know,
Really?
so in fact my wife very jokingly says you should have got married to a South Indian lady.
Mhm.
Well, I still have the time for that, but not too late. Okay, so that's about the thing, and I basically believe a lot in this all this auspicious time, inauspicious time, good days,
Uh-huh.
bad days. So whereas the Sikh community doesn't have any good day, bad day, they believe that our Guru said that all days are good. But
Uh-huh.
I basically go for the Rao Kalam and Allah Naram. So any project I do, my vehicles have to leave at a certain time. We start the work because a lot of clients, you also have noticed that we won't start at any time, and the timing goes by the good time, and even there we try to match numerology, and we start the work only at that time. Well, it has worked for me so far, so why not? So why not do it?
Yeah, in Tamil culture, one of the best things they talk about Tamil culture is, they treat the guest like the god. And so they do it in Punjabi culture as
Oh,
well.
okay. Now I know from where you're coming. Okay. See, one thing I liked about the Tamil culture, which is very, very prominent even in Punjab and Delhi and all that. But
Yeah,
one
you
thing I should
find
tell
this.
you, I've been to Punjab only once in my lifetime, so I don't know too much, but I was very impressed. They have a similar culture where the guest is like a god. What do you call it in Tamil? Atiti
Atiti Devo Bhava.
Deva Baha. Okay. So it's like that. So there also you go, you can be sure that they will give you some first water to drink, they'll give you some lassi to drink, then they will not let you go out of the house unless you have some food or something to eat because they will not
Their
let you go.
lassi is of such a in big, big glass tumblers. I mean, the big, big tumblers they have. It's a special preparation.
Special preparations, but it's okay for them. They're all well built. Here and all, we have that lassi, we'll be sleeping throughout the day. We won't be doing any work at all. Yeah.
Okay,
So
okay,
we have to
okay.
see that also. If I start serving lassi in my house, I won't be going to work. I'll be sitting here full day.
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, it's. Tell us why. How do you feel that you feel so young at this uh, at this junction of your career? I think you still feel that you're one of the young people in the event industry, and I think I can also stand there in your shadow. And what makes you to have this zeal for work? I mean, your son has come up. He's doing pretty well for himself, and he's making you proud. But you still have that zeal to work. What is it that is driving you, Nari sir?
Manish sir, the more interesting topic I would like to talk about is about feeling young. Okay, being young.
Okay.
Since you spoke about it, that's my favorite subject. It's my really favorite subject. See, sir, feeling young, being young is all in the mind. Okay.
Okay.
It's there in the mind, and I have people on your today who have participated. People like John and people like Dia and all. You know, they know that I love being in the company of young people. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to stay young, be in the company of young people, be in the company of make new friends, because the more you have new friends, the more of learning. You have if you start sitting every day. I used to go to the club and sit with the same group every day. And I realized that, we are sitting with the same group every day and sitting and drinking. I realized that we're all growing old because we're discussing the same things again and again. There is no learning at all. You are still discussing the same things and not wanting to go forward. But every time you meet somebody new, he tells you what he's doing and this is what I'm doing and this is it. So you start learning. I come back home, even if I meet anybody, if I meet you and if I know that you're an LED man, that day you can be sure when I come back at home, I'll do a lot of reading on LED, or if I'm dealing with the next meeting, I don't want to be like an idiot when I meet her. I want to be, updated on the subject. So at least, she said, wow, yeah.
Okay, great.
You have some knowledge. You have, my God, from where did you get this knowledge? It's not that I've been gifted or inborn. I always try to learn as much as possible. That's why I told you I do almost about 4 hours of reading every day.
I think we'll have to allow the audience to raise questions. Those who want to raise questions, kindly put your questions in your chat box. I have 1 or 2 more questions to ask Narisa before that.
Manisa, 1 minute.
Yeah.
But ask them not to forget the statutory warning that I said. Don't read between lines and don't focus on my words.
Everyone knows you and adores you so well, and then you are an inspiration. So many people have joined today. It is because of the love they have for you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, and it's a pleasure, talking to you guys. And when I asked Mr. Mani, I told him. He asked me, sir, how do we go about? Shall we have a rehearsal? I said, what rehearsal? I've never done a rehearsal. Always only one take. One take. You say what you feel like. It should come from the heart.
Great.
Not what you want to hear. I don't want to speak what people sitting here want to hear. I want to speak what I actually.
Sir, we are running out of time. I just want to ask you one or two questions before we get. I mean, you have trained so many people in this field today. About a dozen people are out there in the market doing the similar type of business. What you do shows the amount of training and knowledge that you have imparted in all those people. So to that extent, you can be so very proud of yourself for having contributed so much to the. You have been an institution of your own for having trained so many people, and they all are doing so well in this.
Yeah, I must mention that at the beginning I told you I studied in a school called Don Bosco. Okay, Men at Work is like Don Bosco. Okay. We have very strict discipline. You come in 1 minute late, you have to go back. You're not allowed in the company. If you're not in uniform, you'll be asked to go back. And we have all the rules like that. And
we have a lot of event managers in Chennai out of Don Bosco, sir. I can.
Yeah. So good. They will understand what I'm talking. And most important, sir, in our factory, every day is a school. Every day is a training process. All my boys are trained for all sorts of work, for welding to things. So we have made ourselves like an institute. Wonderful, and the day we find, and one thing, sir, Ms. Mani, sir, is everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. And once we find that the man he's got the real drive in him and he can become an entrepreneur, then we promote him. We allow him to to become an entrepreneur, and we support him to the best of our knowledge. But one advice for the people who are here, especially the entrepreneurs, be sincere to your company. When you leave the company, make sure that don't stay in the company and do independent business on the side. Because when you start doing that, you're not going to get support from your company. To leave the company in good taste, you will get excellent support from your company in all ways, in terms of technology, in terms of doing work. Today, boys who have left me, when they come back to me for big jobs, I'm always willing to help them. Same way, when I get small jobs, I share my work with all my boys. I think most of my boys who are here will agree with me on that.
Good, sir. Nari sir, I'll just leave you with one final question. I'm sure everyone is very eager to ask you a little bit more.
That is, now you're scaring me now. Okay.
If you were to given a chance to live your life all over again, how would you have lived it?
Oh, sir, honestly, if I was given a chance to live again, I'd like to be born with at the same Narendra Singh, born to the same parents, have the same friends, everything same, the same background. We had ups and downs in life, but that is what life is all about. And I've enjoyed my life, thoroughly. Well, people ask me sometimes, yes, little bit we have gone extra also at times, but fine, it's all our, and we enjoyed it. When we sat together and drank together, we enjoyed it. When we had fun, we enjoyed it. So why do we even need to cry about it? We should be happy that way. And given a chance, yes, same, everything same, including having Mani Shankar as a friend, John Brito as a friend, DR as a friend, and everybody else. I'd like to live the same life, and I'm just loving this life, and I'd like to live it once again. There's no problem at all. I don't see any issues. Yes, sir.
Very nice, sir. Very nice.
Sir, but questions, I hope we don't get questions on this, COVID-19, because that really gives me creeps.
No, yeah. Now, those of you who want to raise questions, you may please. There are some.
Narendra. Hello.
Yes, Kumar.
Narendra.
Yes, Kumar Sami. Solunga, nalla theriyudu. Tirupur Kumar Sami solunga. Sivaman company Kumar Sami solunga.
Yes. Just I want to tell all the audience about you, Mr. Mani sir.
Yeah.
Narendra is a warrior of Chennai.
Sure he is. Thank you, Kumar Swami. Thank you. Very nice of you. Let's move on to the next question.
Thank
please.
you, Kumar Swami. Thank you very much. And next time you come to Chennai, you will have a drink with me, definitely.
Okay, Narendra. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. But and by the way, I didn't pay him to come and speak for me. Okay, because I didn't even know that he was coming on the panel.
Bhaskaran Chandrasekhar he says, nice to hear and meet a genuine soul. He says about Mr. Nari, and Karthik says he's a great man, great honor, valuable meeting. And PC, really nice, and also inspired to see such a hardworking gentleman and also a pet lover. Here is a great person who says nothing is impossible unless you say so. Very nice, says Jairaj. Ayyappan says, how do you see the future of event management industry in this pandemic? Would you like to say something on that?
Sir, first thing I'll tell you one thing. Nobody knows what's going to happen, sir. Yeah. Even the big scientists don't know what's going to happen. The politicians don't know what's going to happen. So why are you even breaking your head over that? And this is the time doing things more creatively. Let's be more creative and see how we can come out of this the situation. That is more important. And this is going to be a test for everybody.
Fine,
it's going to be a battle of survival.
Point well taken. And Bala Duraraj says, great to listen to you, Nari, as always. And David says, I always like his commitment and involvement. Thanks for your initiative, Mani sir, he says. Natarajan says, it's very interesting. What has been the one turning point of your life? Siddharth Ganerwala wants to ask you.
Sir, said it's not been one turning point. What I remember is I can remember right now offhand, because I can remember two turning points in my life. One turning point was when I started working on the A.R. Rahman projects. We had absolutely no knowledge of the scaling they were talking about, but yes, we were overconfident and we took it. But having taken it, there was no chance for us to fail. So we had to really go all out and we had to deliver. That as far as the A.R. Rahman concerts was concerned. The second turning point for me was the Savera incident. The Savera incident was a real turning point in my career, where I sort of realized that don't take anything for granted and don't play with safety. That's the most important point for any even company, because safety should be a priority. Safety not only for the guests, safety for your workers, safety for your equipment, safety for the event managers, safety for all. Because these two, in fact, after the Severa incident, we have completely we have changed from a we have changed our full outlook of the business. Today, any project we take, even if it's a small wedding project, we plan for the worst situation. It's not that will it fall. We say yes, it's going to fall. So what do you do to prevent it from falling? That Mr. Mani will be knowing better.
Sure, sir.
They
Sure.
say it's going to fall. So what are you going to do about to prevent it from falling? You should take preventive measures, not do a post-mortem on why it happened.
Brijesh says it was a great talk show with a wonderful professional or Nari sir in the Indian event industry. And Arvind says, highly inspiration. Thank you very much, sir. Listening Nari for very first time. I'm so glad to be a part of this session. Also didn't get a chance to work with him, but I hope I'll sure get a chance sometime to work with him in the Legend. Great chat by my uncle, says Gagan Sabariwal. There was a lot of things I didn't know would work, Chacha. The family is so proud of you, and so all of us are. Then Mr. Kumar Ashirwadam, it was nice to know more about Mr. Narendra. Always pleasure to work with him, and he always gives valuable advice. What more? Thank you very much for having made us to listen to a hardworking and interesting person. Awesome sharing of experience, brother Robin Chando. Sridevi, blessed to hear from the legend himself. Always cherish all my conversations with you, sir. And sir, interacting and sharing your experience is really very good, particularly for today's youngsters.
Sir, my innings are not over. I have just played the first inning. The second inning is so don't make it look like I am retiring. I told you I'm an evergreen staging guy, and I'll come back in a bigger form.
Certainly, certainly.
For those of you who have seen the movie Enter the Dragon, well, now you get to see the Return of the Dragon very soon.
Okay.
Thank you, Mani sir. Thank you, Mani sir.
Thank you. It's wonderful talking to you. Thanks for giving me this very good opportunity of interacting with you, Nari sir. I'm really truly blessed.
Sir, it was very amazing and inspiring to know more about the journey of your life, sir. Actually, we really feel proud to be associated with you for these many years. And it gives a feeling of high satisfaction in hearing your speech with more enthusiasm and energy from start to end. And I feel this is the positive energy, and happy to be under the race of it. In many occasions, during our inquiries or orders, you are very straightforward and never said yes when it is to be no. So your quality is not restricted to the work spot alone, but it starts from the baseline of your planning. Actually, for every event's platform is the base and most important. Similarly, sir, I feel you are the platform for the up. Thank you, sir. Thanks to all, and we'll be happy to see you again. So we wish your services to be continued for many more years. We pray Almighty for your long, healthy, and happy life.